Johnny, we did a little intro and then had a mic problem. So if you can put it together, splice, whatever. So Mauro was telling us the migration, relocation from Manhattan,
No,
as well as, more importantly, like among your 2 or 3 careers, fitness is the one you gravitated to.
Yeah.
Maybe the most.
I would say that, what not to like relocating to Miami Beach. I mean, it's it's a pretty like self explanatory reason. But the reality is that New York City gave me 20 beautiful winters, and that was that was plenty and enough for the rest of my life. So I decided, to go somewhere warm, and a good side effect of being in a warm climate, year-round warm climate, is that you can be out there and do fitness and do anything you want outdoor. So that kind of like elevated my running game, as everyone knows. And Miami doesn't shy of a multitude of run clubs and runners, counting in the thousands. And so me running from back 2004 when I was in London, UK, for me was a natural path, having ran, so many marathons and so many miles in New York City, in the cold, in the summertime, in the winter time. And so coming to Miami kind of gave me like even more inspiration to certify as a running coach, which is a thing. Running coaches can certify, and started my own practice. So I've been enjoying the past 2-3 years coaching a few runners, and I'm looking forward to what's coming in the future, which is very soon coming, like an sort of like an app and some educational content that I want to throw into the mix of training.
It's amazing, man. And the interesting things too, you're not just popping up out of the woodwork to be a certified run coach, but when I met you, you previously were working about 5 years for an international wellness group, and you've shifted gears. So, and to my knowledge, your corporate wellness group was doing mostly online training, correct? And you do some in-person training now, I know, but then you've got a bit of a blend. I would imagine you're also advising people on you're not going to be with them all the time. They might be out training on their own. I know you've built people up to train for half marathons, which is not a thing you can just walk out of bed and do, on a daily basis. It's very helpful to have a professional certified coach like yourself. But you're also doing a little hybrid. Maybe some of your experience at the previous corporate background lends a strength that other certified run coaches won't have. So can you touch on how that organization worked and how it applies to what your clientele received from you in particular?
Yeah, what you're mentioning, thank you for mentioning that, is my background as a wellness and health coach. So double certified over the years. I did work with one-on-one clients, and then at some point I did work for a company that used positive psychology to change behavior and help people losing weight and get into their best, the best shape of their life, wellness and lifestyle-wise. So that obviously, influences my, so I did like thousands and thousands of clients over chat, but nonetheless, you kind of learn the material, you practice the material, and there's nothing more powerful than using psychology to coaching psychology to kind of like motivate and influence and guide people to live a better life. So you're right. Yeah, when I do my running practice, in all effects, I do integrate all of the learnings and the teachings and the desire to include all elements, all the aspects of the running practice, which is not just putting the shoes on and running. which it can also be.
That's my style, admittedly.
Yeah. But, it can be like a bit more complicated if you start running more miles more frequently and you start having pain and, you start realizing that you need, very frequently injuries and debilitating and, kind of like taking the pleasure out of like your running practice. So that's the practice I'm building is around, preventing injuries by changing, altering your behavior and your patterns to include other elements of fitness. So for example, strength training, foot strength, assessment.
Food strength?
Foot. Yeah.
Oh, foot strength.
Yeah. So strength, foot strengthening exercises, body resistance training exercises, anything, like low impact training, and then going on to nutrition. How many of us are deficient of not only nutrients, certain nutrients, but also of calories. So I have plenty of examples of people working out more than they eat, and that goes to the detriment of like muscle growth or bone health or like overall physical health, and then mental health. Sleeping is super important. It's something that I...
What time do you go to bed normally?
It depends, but I try to put in 7-8 hours a night, and this is my baseline, my benchmark. But it changes, right? It's definitely there is like a minimum of hours that everyone should go by, and then emotional health. Running and doing sports also is affected and affects emotional health. So there's so many like elements, and I like to put them all in considerations. So it's a very fascinating journey. Of course, I'm not qualified, and I don't expect to know everything in every field. So I have partnerships where I divide and conquer, where I kind of like advise my clients to go to. So if it's like I can advise on a general guidelines on nutrition, general guidelines on posture and adjusting that. I can give a general advice on strength workouts, right? But if it gets to the point where I need to prescribe, then I'm out of scope. So I will use partners to kind of like continue that conversation.
Let me go way back, Mauro. I grew up in America, which has got a large youth sports programming the last, say, 40 to 60 years. You've got like Catholic basketball programs, and you've got Little League baseball for 60, 75 years or so. You grew up in Italy, and to my knowledge, like we also have NCAA college stuff to an extreme. And, it's become a major sports economics driver that Europe simply doesn't have. Having grown up in Italy, what sports might your parents have played, if anything? What fitness activations did they do besides walking to the market, as we all like to think of Italy and whatnot? Bicycling around town, whatever it might have been, that you had examples and community inspiration from youth to bring you. I think you said you started running in London when you lived there 25, 30 years ago or something. But really, what would draw you at a young age to be open to this lifestyle and career that you've carved out the last 5 to 25 years?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Actually, I was not into sports at all. So both my parents are really not athletes. They're not into sports. As you said, actually, you drew a pretty accurate picture.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I guess.
They actually walk a lot, and that's their exercise.
Yeah.
But, as a child, they did expose me to some sports like tennis, swim, but none of them stuck with me because I started smoking cigarettes. So for me,
Naughty.
so the first experience, actually, I had a very early memory of being placed on a school I think it was junior high school running team, and I remember it was about something like 3 or 4 loops around this track. And after one loop, they didn't see me. I disappeared from the track. I was like, that.
Naughty.
Yeah. So that was the only the first experiment. But when I went back to sports is really when I quit smoking. So actually, it's when I came to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and asked.
So arrival to the U.S. is Manhattan or nearby?
Yeah,
New York.
Yeah, I was New York City.
And so, who exposed you to fitness and sports?
No, me. I had a strong desire to quit smoking, and so I actually planned to go, and I did. I went cold turkey smoking cigarettes, and I went to the gym, and it was an incredible journey. And then it took me about.
What did you do at the gym, though? Like, what did you walk in to choose to do? The treadmill, weightlifting?
No, it was just weightlifting, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I went into boxing. I did boxing for many years. But the thing is that it took me about 12, 13 years to quit smoking. So when I quit.
Well, you quit cold turkey, you happened to smoke a decade.
Yeah.
A little over. Okay, got it.
I finally quit.
Half a pack, or?
I finally quit like around 2008 to 2009.
Right.
Me, I was a chimney. I was smoking. Yeah, a lot.
I would never have guessed that.
A lot.
About you.
Yeah, my frame was much smaller. My lungs were very, under.
Well, I think that speaks to another cultural difference between America and Europe. Because I laugh at my American friends the last 2 decades or 3. It was like, we didn't have too many smokers by my high school days, and we're the same age, actually. So it had become passe, past the 80s, I would say. So by the 90s, Americans didn't smoke, but here we see Europeans still, and you can just spot them. If there's someone in our community that smokes, they're European, they're not American.
Yeah,
and then on the other side, the other social side was like I originally said, like, hey, we've grown up in a free sports culture for the most part.
Yeah.
Which is changing now too. It's it's pay to play type stuff that's dividing youth sports, which is a concern to me because I grew up on free sports for the most part.
I hear you.
Community stuff.
I hear you.
So you got drawn in to quit smoking, to get healthy, did some boxing. And the hosts, our hosts at Nucleus, are checking in. They're graciously opening up their doors on this summer sizzle.
Let's do 5 more minutes and then.
Yeah. No, I'm glad I asked you that, though. And Johnny will chop that up if he needs to. So what's next? What's next for you and leading your clientele? And like today, you're kind of helping lead the community. We're all in this together.
Yeah, so I'm more into like one-on-one kind of work. Because it's more educational, and I have more the chance to influence one person at a time. I'm not really like the group setting person, but Anthony from Nucleus asked me to lead this run, and I think that opens up the door for more.
Got me up and out of bed 6 a.m. today.
So that did the work, and as you can see, the Nucleus setup is more the Nucleus Festival as it is today is more like of a diverse mix of fitness and educational workshops, and that kind of keep people engaged. So I want to continue that path with them, but mostly I'm working on launching my own program, my own running program, which is going to be called Stride Strong Coaching.
Stride Strong Coaching.
That's right.
.com?
No, there's not a website yet, but it's going to be a 3-month program app where people can sign up, and it's going to be self-paced.
There's an app for that. Stride.
There's going to be an app. So it's not published yet. But so that's the plan. And kind of like take like anything I learned from the past, 3-4 years of coaching and my running experience to, people desks and phones everywhere.
Right.
So that's the next step for me.
And what about you personally? We're going to close on this. I'm so happy to see you after a month of visiting Italy. You took a wonderful crew that, I've been active in the last few years. You started up this Vespa Club, those cute Italian scooters. They're about 70 years old in design.
Yeah.
And took a Tuscany trip to
That's
the other side.
Yeah, that's a
And
huge.
see family and home country. And
Yep.
now you're back.
Yeah, I don't want to make the waters murky, but I do have another, that's a passion of mine, which is stems out of Vespa scooters. They're like a cultural icon worldwide.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what a Vespa is, go check it out. They're beautiful machines and very pretty. Everyone loves them, want to take picture with them.
Mm-hmm.
But there are Vespa clubs all over the world, and I did fund it. The one in Miami have 55 to 60 active members, and we do trips locally. But this year I took 20 of my members down to Tuscany, and it was a blast.
Right. So next is building and launching this app and gaining your one-on-one clientele and
Really
that's
the desire, impact
people's lives.
Because there's so much like running around Miami and the world, and I think like there is also a need of an educated runner that can continue running, for a long time safely, on the streets, so knowledgeable and so that it makes this community even stronger.
That's good stuff. Stride strength.
Stride strong coaching. Yeah.
Stride strong coaching.
Yeah. But you can follow me at coach.mauro, coach.mauro.
Spell that.
Mauro.
M-A-U-R-O.
M-A-U-R-O, coach.mauro on IG. That's the only place I am right now because it's easy to manage one platform and not three before.
Yes.
Yeah. So I stick there.
Well, thank you for the A part of the Q&A.
Yeah, no, thank you for being part of the queue.
It's fun to watch your growth.
All right, take care, guys. Peace.